The problem in this exercise is to determine a volume in a certain area, say between this circle and the circle on the bottom here. Now it could be a much more complex situation than just a cylinder. But let's look at two different methods of doing this. So the first method is I would start a new part file, and then I go to the Manage tab, and I would select Derive, and then select the original file, and I'll go ahead and bring that in as a solid bodies. Now usually I would do this as a surface body, but for this particular problem there are some issues that that we'll see that the reason I bring it in as a solid body. Okay, now one advantage of doing this with the derived component is if I make any changes to the original component within reason, it will automatically update the derived component. So then I'm going to go to the 3D model tab, and I'm going to delete this face right here and this face, and I want it to heal that when it takes that hole out. I want it to heal apart. And when I do that, I noticed unexpected behavior here, and that this side hole still is still there. And if I do that just one at a time, if I do the delete face, I just did an undo, and if I do it just this side by itself, we can see that there's still a hole there, and so I have to do a second delete face, and now I can I've gotten rid of that hole. Alright, so then I'm going to go to the front view of this, and it might be easier to see if I do shaded with hidden edges, so I can see those hidden edges inside of the part. And I'm going to do another delete face, but this time I'm not going to turn on heal, and I'm going to do a crossing window, and I'm going to select everything that window crosses. So I'm being careful not to get the cylinder over here, and so I'll select that area, and I'll also, and now on this side I'll do a window selection, and so anything that window is entirely inside of the window, and so I've selected everything except for this cylinder, and I'll say OK to that. And so I deleted everything except for the cylinder. And again, this could be a much more complex shape than a simple cylinder. And then I will put a patch on the top and a patch on the bottom, and then stitch these together. And so I'll stitch that together. I have a solid body now. I can go to the eye properties of that solid body. I'll go to the physical tab. I'm going to put it on very high accuracy and update, and so there I have my my volume of that cylinder. And again, if I change the original part in such a way that cylinder updates, it will all be associative. Now let's look at another way of doing it. So this was with a derived component. Let's look at doing it directly in the original part file. And so I could create a sketch on one of the origin planes, and so I'll do that, and then I'm going to project geometry, and I'm going to project this line, and then I'm going to draw a rectangle from this point up to that point, and I'll revolve this, do revolve around this axis, and I'm going to do that as a new solid body. Okay, so now up here I have two solid bodies, and I'm going to right click and go to the eye properties, and I'll go to the physical tab. I'm going to put it on very high again, and I'm going to go here where it says the part. I'm going to click on this down arrow, and I'm going to unselect the part, and then just select the solid body that I want to get the volume of. And so in this case, solid body 2. I'll do update, and let's do it again. There we go. Alright, so I have the volume, and then this was just using a single part, I have two different ways. Then I could either suppress this or turn off the visibility, not suppress. I could turn off the visibility. Actually, maybe there's three ways. I could turn off the visibility, I could suppress this feature, or I could simply drag the end of part marker up above that feature, and then if I make some changes and later on I want to go back and see what the new volume is, just drag the end of part marker back down. So the big question on this then was, back here when we did the delete face, why did it not, even if we selected this face and the face that was over on the other side, why did it not delete both of those faces at the same time? That was unexpected behavior.